people, welcome to the One Post Show. Now today, man's stolen another set. I'm in Specs' studio. Specs does the No Rules podcast here, although he hasn't done it for quite some time. He hasn't got a trim, so he definitely knows on this lockdown thing. I got a little shape up Tuesday, I got Razor. In front of me is a man that I love very much.
I love you too.
His name's Lippy.
That's my name.
It's time for the COVID-19 spud. You done now, cuz.
Bluetooth.
Come on, Bluetooth thing. What one?
What are you telling me, bro?
Do you know what I was thinking today, yeah? That my name hasn't aged well.
Is that what you reckon?
Like poet. Like think about it, a grown man. I've got children. They're gonna walk around and they're gonna say their dad's called Poet. And they're gonna say, what poems does he do? And they won't say one thing.
Because I think because you're wavy, you get away with it.
Serious?
You're wavy. Yeah, you got the image with it. If you was just like any brother just in a tracksuit called Poet, it's like, what's going on there?
Bit nasty,
you got the
innit?
mad, the bright coloured. You get me? So yeah, man. I think it sits well, man. It suits you, man.
Yeah, but I've changed it a little bit. I've made it Pole. Because Pole's police, so I say the one Pole.
I remember I called you that time on the phone and we had a separate discussion about that and we moved on. But
We moved forward.
Yeah.
Why you called Lippy?
I'm a bit rude apparently. Apparently I say a lot of things.
Who gave you the name?
Just the people them around me, my peers.
The ends, innit?
Yeah, Lippy, Lips. I shortened it to Lips.
Because I'm thinking to myself, when you was called Lippy, you didn't do this though. So when you was called Lippy at the start, what was going on?
Nah, I was. I just was doing it off camera kind of thing. You understand? I've always
I saw music, big man.
had things to say. I'd done music, yeah.
What do you mean? Don't say it like that, big man. I can't lie. You was rapping your thing, big man. I said what?
was rapping
Lippy
my
used to rap.
I used to rap, man.
Did everyone rap though?
That's what I think it was. That's what I think you didn't really know about, man. Cause so much man was rapping, it was like you can't really. You get me? It wasn't
crazy, innit?
It wasn't unique.
Do you know what? It's so much, yeah. When I look back, I'm like, well, J2K still raps now, but J2K was sick. Scraps used to do grime.
Yeah.
Like he was cold.
Yeah.
On stage at the dances with Skeppy and all of that.
Yeah.
Who else used to rap? That's more weird. That just doesn't rap no more. That I look at. Bearman. Where the hell was Bearman?
Bearman, wow.
Do you remember Bearman?
Yeah, I liked Bearman still.
I liked him a lot.
I
Very
liked
controversial.
Bearman.
Had a lot to say.
Yeah, it's fun with it.
Beef with Wootsy as well.
He brought the fun to grime.
And that's you. You have a lot of beef with people. Have you always been like this? Have you always been a man that always just contests things?
Yeah.
Sorry, I got corona. Go on.
Yeah. It's mad. It's calm. This is
social
just
distance.
2 meters. Yeah. But I have. I'm quite. I wouldn't even say confrontational, but I might say things that people might particularly would realise is gonna offend someone, and I don't really have that filter in my brain. Like it's just like, just say it. Like,
Yeah, because you know what I think about? I think about people like you might have the vaccine for cancel culture. Because it needs a vaccine like COVID-19.
I hear that.
It needs a vaccine, or maybe it doesn't. What makes you think, because I saw something happen to you the other day, it happens to everyone. What is your take on cancel culture?
Do you know what it is? I think it's silly. I kind of think the whole witch mob hunting man thing is just weak, innit? It shows that, as you know, innit, I'm someone that always sticks out from the crowd, innit? Like I don't really stand with what everyone's doing.
Saying and thing.
So I know I don't want to sound like I think I'm someone, but a lot of the people trying to cancel people, it's like who is anyone to cancel a next man? Obviously there's things that I believe you should definitely be X'd out if you're associated.
What are those
you're
things?
doing.
What are the things where you're like, big man, if you do this
Let's be honest. Like,
Go on.
not even
I'm
trying
wearing a Leon top.
Yeah,
Right?
man's not trying to go into too delicate situations with things like rape,
No.
hurting women, children. Like, there's no excuse for. There shouldn't be a cancel conversation. But it's like, you see, when there is things like that has happened, and they've tried to do the cancel culture thing, it makes it kind of desensitizes the thing, because you're doing cancel culture for tweets and pictures from back in the day and videos. If you're gonna do it for something major like rape or abusing women, it puts them two things on the same level, innit? And
Puts
it's
it into
not.
perspective.
That's why there's I'm not even gonna name names, but there's characters on social media that's been outed for certain situations that if this was the real world, they would be fucked. But again, because cancel culture is not serious, they cut through.
So why does everyone take it serious, big man? Man treat cancel culture like COVID-19. I'm locked up, big man.
Yeah, 100. It's you know what it is. It's like you said, man. Like we said on Gaswork, social media is not real, innit? And it's like a place where you can just go and have all this authority and you're alongside all these other people. So it's just a sheepish thing. Like I said, certain man should really be out of here, innit? But they're not, because they're in the same group as people like you and me, who's just done something that, yeah, you might not particularly like, but if people was like me, they'll be able to say, yo, you see what my man done? I don't feel that, but cool, that was that. That doesn't define him, innit? Let's be honest. There's things that people do that can more or less define them. Like I said, if you rape, you are a rapist. You understand? You don't outgrow that. You understand?
That word. So obviously we don't even have to keep validating it. We know that's a bad thing. You see that word growth, big man?
Yeah.
Catrice, I got some plants in my house that I shouldn't have, but I'm watering them, and I'm seeing the growth, and it's making me realize more time, if you just look after something and it grows, what it looked like at the start, it doesn't look like after 3 months or maybe a year, whatever you prefer. But I'm just saying, can't we have that same type of treatment that you have to my plant
in the culture?
Why can't man just grow? Make a little mistake and we just say to the big man, this is how you should do.
We pick and choose, innit? We pick and choose. Like you said, what happened to little bro Alhan the other day, they're not trying to let him grow. You understand? Because I think the way he grew in another way, like popularity wise, it didn't sit right with a lot of people for whatever reason, innit? But if you know him, like you or me, or the way the fans love him, you'll know Alhan's he's like me, innit? He just speaks his mind, innit?
Yeah.
There might be one or two things that might not necessarily offend people, but you know certain groups of people might not necessarily agree with it, but it's never personal. It's never personal.
Do you know what? I look at it and I think to myself, do you know what I love about the internet? It looks like, especially Twitter, it looks like a massive playground.
Yeah.
But in my playground in school, the realest man that you had to be wary of is the bad man.
Exactly.
Because the consequences for your actions, if you stepped out of line in this playground, were just mad. Your lunch money's gone now. I'm eating Maryland cookies for lunch. It wasn't even my fault. On Twitter though, it seems like a big playground, but the rude boy is the man that probably has spent half of his life on computers and or doesn't really have that much of us. Do you understand? He said that is the rude boy on the net. And
they're the regulators. They're the regulators. They decide who's the bad man. They decide who's cancelled. They decide who's pretty, who's ugly. Don't get it twisted. Some of these people might really be about it in real life, but a lot of them, I don't think so. If you can kind of just...
So I'll ask you a question, because Alhan responded to one of the things, and I was just like, Twitter can disappear, but real life can't.
Yeah.
So in real life, if these people are not people that you acknowledge or care about, why do you care about them on Twitter?
It's the truth. That's how I got through it. I said something on Twitter the other day and I lied to the people fully. Someone, you know what it is? I woke up and I said, this is the tweet, word for word. I said, I wake up every day and within an hour I'm vexed. I wake up feeling wicked every day. Within an hour, I'm like, what the fuck? And someone said, it's because of Twitter. And I said, no, Twitter can never affect my mood. Like, I'm above that, bro. That is not the truth.
It affects my mood,
not the truth. It's because, put it this way, it can make you feel good. It can make you feel, you get me? Because there's times where you're just getting mad love. You put out something, or you say some kind of facts, and the man, yeah, my real talk and rare tech. But then on another day, it's, yeah, you're an idiot, and boom, and so it will affect you, innit? But I think, like you just said, innit? When you separate it from your real life, it's a lot easier. We're all humans, innit? You're always going to see things that's going to make you happy or sad or whatever in this little social media world, especially people like us, because we have to, a lot of people know us there, you understand? Like, they kind of, and I think where you, me, Alhan are quite similar, people take things we say and just like, they're ready to not rate it already sometimes, kind of thing. Like, remember we spoke about when we went on Chucky's thing, about the Wiley thing, you speaking facts. To the extent where I've seen man tweeting what you're saying, and they're saying, yeah, facts, but when it's you, it's, poet speaks too much and rare tech. So it's just, there's all these little,
them though.
There's these little dickhead, but it's silly agendas, isn't it? It's silly agendas. Something happens tomorrow, you save all the orphans out the burning building, you're the man, dog. Everything you save from tomorrow is, and so it should be, innit? You saved orphans from a building, innit?
Yeah.
So my thing is, what did you do for people to not like you? You ain't done nothing, bro. You haven't done anything.
I think it's translation though, because I have to. Do you know what? Yeah, I spoke to J2K and he told me straight, fam. Sometimes every time I see your face, you're just chatting. So I started looking at my calendar for the week, and I realized there's a bag of chat. So I had to just take a step back and say, where do I give certain bits of information? So now my thing is strategic. There are only certain conversations I have on one platform. Because if I have it everywhere, if it's mad personal, it just looks like I'm just forever chatting. But if I just have it in one place, and I mean not you'll never see me tweet about it, you'll never see me grab about it, but I'll just do it on Halfcast.
I think
that means
I think I'm starting to learn that as well. There's
Yeah?
a place.
Yeah.
And sometimes just let people say what they're saying, innit? Because you see me, I'm a man. I'll see something on Twitter. Oh, grass is red. What the fuck are you talking about? It's green. Like, I ain't even clocked that it's some troll account that I've just opened myself up to. And then I'm back and forth with this person. And now everyone's just on me. You understand? But again, when I'm sitting on my phone on Twitter or whatever, I'm just like any man. I don't think, oh, I'm lippy and I'm signing on to speak to all my followers. Now I'm just tweeting like any man.
So what you're saying is when you're on Twitter, you're just treating it like a normal brother, but people hold you in such high regard that they read deeper into what you tweet than you tweet.
I wrote something the other day. I can't even remember what it was. Something basic. Something about like rice and peas or something. I said, oh, I don't like that. Someone quote tweeted it. Oh, who told this guy he's the spokesperson for black people?
Now, Lippy, watch this.
I was like, what?
I hear you. I do hear you. But let me show you what you have for. Maybe we all have to wake up a little piece. If Drake tomorrow tweets Thierry Henry was the greatest striker of all time, cuz I can't lie, that is gonna cause a reaction.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
if
I hear
the
you.
man behind the camera over there tweets it, no one cares what Greg has to
hear
say.
you.
I mean, I care about Greg.
But,
it's the same
dude,
information, but
yeah.
the place it's coming from just has a bit more attention.
I hear that.
So we now have to think, all right,
I
cool.
hear
We
that.
can't just be ignorant. We have to, because we know what we say is looked at so much, we just have to be careful what we say.
Yeah.
I think that's fair
Yeah,
enough,
that
to be
is true.
fair.
That is true.
I think
That's
that's
a fair
mad fair
statement.
enough. Do you know what I mean?
That's a fair, and to be honest, we do that majority of the
course.
time. But it's just times you'll slip up and it's innocently. You'll mention, like I just said, I'll talk about something that you think this will never have an effect on anything. I'm just speaking. And someone will go, oh, you're just stereotyping and you're this and you can't say that. And you see me, like Lippy, like I said, I have to reply to a man.
Yeah,
A man could have a rocket launcher to the side of my head. He says something a bit
Mad.
If I have to whisper it. You understand? Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't. Obviously, it gets better with age, innit? But when I was younger, it was a real problem of mine. I think.
What, having to respond to things?
Yeah, like in school, you know how it is in school. Teacher say something smarter. Now you're arguing with an adult in front of children. Like now I see that's mad. Now that I'm a big man. When I was 14, 15 and that, I'm just thinking, yeah, I'm holding my own. And
all right, so let me ask you a question about this now, because I think loads of us, when I was in school, I was bad.
Yeah.
Not bad, like I was just cheeky.
Yeah.
So why are you late? Because I'm not on time.
Yeah,
Get
yeah,
out.
yeah.
What do you mean? You
Same
asked me a
thing.
question. I used to
Yeah,
be very
same
like.
thing, same
You asked me a
thing.
question, innit? So what one?
Yeah.
And if you say, oh, I'm gonna phone your mum. One time, the teacher, year 9, I'm gonna phone your mum. Took my phone out, phoned my mum. Mum, this teacher's been chatting about phoning you. There.
Yeah,
you
that's
go.
I was on that.
all of
Yeah,
that.
I was on that.
Now, what's the difference in your life when you think between surviving and living? Because I felt like the way I behaved younger, the reason why I done that is because big man, I had to survive.
Yeah, no,
If I didn't
100%.
do that, I don't know what was going on in
No,
my school.
100%,
My school
100%.
sabotaged my results. It was all mad. So I had to survive. Now, if you've got the same traits of school later on in life,
Yeah.
are you living or surviving, Lippy?
Do you know what it is, yeah? If you was to ask me this without saying what you were saying, I'd say, that's really that, man. I'm just living. You understand? But when you put it that way, it's true, innit?
Yeah.
I'm still kind of in that mentality where it's like, yeah, I'm in this, social media wise especially. In everyday life, it kind of is anything, you get me? My kind of personal demons, I've got through that, innit? But the social media thing, that's the one thing that's kind of stayed the same, like, constantly throughout my life. But obviously, recently, I'm popular on there.
Yes, but Bluetooth,
So it's like-
COVID, my G.
But it's like, I ain't adjusted to that. So when people are having discussions and I'm just going to say what I'm saying. And again, first off, it just starts innocent. So I'm living. And someone will say something. Yeah. And it might, again, I might just be defending my point.
Yeah.
But then it'll get personal. I'm defending myself now. So surviving. You understand? And it's fucked up when you put it that way. I never really would have thought of it because I think I'm quite thick-skinned in it. I can give it and I can take it. You understand? But there's a lot of people that are popular that can't. So they don't give it. So they don't want to take it. Like with that whole Twitter purge thing they tried to do the other day, bringing up everyone's tweets from 012 and that. Certain people ain't come back from Twitter from that. You understand? And that's upsetting. You understand? I'm not saying raw. Cause me, I'm 28.
Yeah.
In 012, I was 20. I wasn't a kid. I was a lot more immature than I was now. You know that if you know me personally, innit? On paper, a 20-year-old is a grown man, just like a 28-year-old, like I am now, innit? According to whatever was the people who was deciding that the other day, innit? And I understand that. I might not agree, but I understand their point of view. You get me? And I'm that kind of person, innit? But a lot of people, they're not like that. So don't get it twisted. Loads of people the other day, they saw, yeah, man, my man was young then. You understand? I see Nella Rose, she was like, I don't know how, she's in her early 20s, so she must have been in her teens then. See, if I had Twitter in my teens, oh my God. Oh, the things that I would have written, and especially because of the subjects that's on Twitter, and where how my mind was then, it would have been mad.
Do you know what I look at you as, Lippy? And why I love you so much, fam? You look like a member of my community.
I like that.
And people, when I say that, people think that I'm talking about black on black. I'm not even fully black. I don't even know where half of myself is. I'm just everywhere. But one thing I tell you is my community has things that everyone can remember. Little things. Maybe it was the postman. Maybe it was the ice cream man that always came. Maybe it was the local drug dealer. Maybe it was what is on the bicycle. I'm just looking like, if this was a film, Lippy would have a role. This is my problem though. I think a lot of people will get you misconceived because they don't understand the culture behind what's going on. They just understand one aspect of it. 100%. So they might understand the music and they love the music. So they now believe they can have a voice on everything because they like the music. And they might even understand the music very well.
But it's not just about the music. I hear what you're saying.
What do you say when you say it's not just about the music? What is it about to you as well apart from the music?
You see, like what you just said, like just little characters in our community, like in our environment, the way we grew up. I get that from a lot of people. Like, yeah, bro, you know how much man I know like you. Like everyone's got a Lippy in their hood, and it's the truth, innit? And my thing is about, if our culture's so like, you get me, you're around my age, dude, it's been creeping up. And right now, mainstream's here, our culture's just here. You understand? So all the people in this little space here, like, kind of like the outsiders. So there's people like you and me that are just, we've seen it from the beginning, and it's, we've never thought we're stepping into something. We're just like, yeah, everything that's going on, this is just me and Rare to like you, me, Smiler, like the culture guys.
Yeah,
like man. To call us. You understand? But a lot of people have kind of stepped in, being able to connect themselves with people like us, and just been able to just be in that space, innit? And it's like, I wouldn't say I don't like them guys, but I'm really from here, innit? So like, the way I see them is kind of different. I get it, there's a space for everyone, innit? But my thing is all about just keeping it genuine, keeping it real, innit? I'm not gonna mention names, but I think the scene's been quite gentrified, innit?
Whose fault is that?
You can't really say it's anyone's fault. I think gentrification, you learn everything from like the top, innit?
Yeah.
And from in life, gentrification is happening, innit?
Yeah. But why does it happen?
I don't know, man, because I think a lot of the things associated with our culture is seen as negative, for one. Some of the things are negative, let's be honest, but kind of through living how we live, I always say it, poet, innit? One thing that's negative about our culture, I think, you and me grew up exactly the same, bro. More, not exactly, but
we're very similar.
You understand? But sorry to send the convo that way, at a point in my life, said I have to arm myself, I have to do this, I have to, and I grew up just like you, innit? And I picked up all these negative traits, but you didn't. Because I did them negative things and I moved on, everyone's like, oh my gosh, well done, give me a hug, you're a hero, you're telling everyone to not carry knives after joking up however many people, where you live like how I live and never felt that you had to do that. Why aren't we celebrating people like you? And I tell you the reason why is because there's too much man like you. And for the narrative, that's not a good thing. It's more interesting when it seems like everyone's just a bad man with a knife, and if you're not anymore, it's because you're super mature now. When in reality, if you get 10 black youths in a room, even in some of them rooms, there's just gonna be 10 black youths that said, I never did nothing, bro. Fair enough, I had fights and rare, but I didn't stab guys, I didn't carry guns, I didn't sell hard drugs. Majority of man in our environment are like you, Paul, they didn't do the mad thing. But guys like me that did the mad thing are held in a special place, you understand, for whatever reason.
Let me show you why you deserve it. Because you've said this to me before and I was like, oh, thank you. Then I thought, no, I don't deserve the praise. And I'll tell you why. Say this is the culture. People need to understand it is a predominantly black culture, but it's not a black culture. It's predominantly a black culture, probably inspired by black people, and pretty much most of the things that happen is But it's not just black people.
We're
I've
deep
got
into this
bare
thing.
Turkish man in my
Yeah,
community.
yeah.
Bare Turkish man that I respect
This is
highly,
London, man.
and I
It's
would
London
expect them to
City,
be in
man.
most
Yeah,
communities. London,
yeah,
and they're not
yeah.
there's loads of different groups of pots of individuals. Ethnic minorities are in my community. There's white people in my community. So
Yeah.
yes, the community is open for everyone. But it doesn't mean just because you're black, you're part of my community.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean just because you're Turkish, you're
Yeah,
part of my
yeah,
community.
yeah,
There are
yeah, yeah.
simple semantics. There's certain things that make it more specific than that.
I hear
People generalize it, and that's how you exploit it. But if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
appreciate it for
yeah.
what it is, that's when you know.
Yeah.
There's a particular type of
I hear
black
that.
individual within
I
my
hear that.
community who is exposed to far too much, whether it be drugs, guns, and so on and so forth. Now, if you're a black boy that isn't exposed to that in a very different environment and won't understand why someone does that, then you just, to me, shouldn't speak on it.
Yeah, I hear that.
Now, I didn't do whatever, you did and loads of other people done, but that's only because I was able to translate that circumstances differently to everybody else. Now, that translation's a lot easier when you're 14, 15. It's a
Yeah.
lot easier.
Yeah.
My dad went pen, fam, for time. So when he went pen, I just looked at it, saw how my mum was hurt, saw how everyone in my family was hurt, and it just very easily for me said,
Yeah, he said,
cause I can't
yeah, I
be
can't
responsible
do that.
for that.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't. My dad had to survive. He had to learn how to survive to help me live.
Yeah.
So why am I now gonna go and survive after
that's
he's
the
had to
thing.
do that for me to live? So that's how I interpreted it and said, I'm gonna do youth work and all these other things. But I'm not mad at someone else that didn't interpret it like that because the environment is mad. I
crazy.
kind of rate the man that was older when he made the sacrifice. Because when you're older, fam, cause your canvas is a lot more filled out.
Yeah.
Me making a change at 14 years of living, my
Yeah, it
canvas isn't
wasn't-
that fully.
yeah.
If you're 21, 22 years old, do you know how much things have happened on your canvas?
It still takes a lot though, Paul, man.
No,
to
22.
You, yeah,
For
but
me,
you
I
to-
know.
I hear you, but for me, the way kind of 14, 15, that's when my journey started, kind of with the whole crisis thing. And it's like, I didn't even realize what was going on until a couple years later. You understand? I was just picking things up, and at first it was just like accepting things, innit? Like my brethren's got a knife, like cool, innit? It's nothing, rare tear. Or my brethren stabbed someone, cool, innit? Oh, the guys that he's stabbed are come back for us, all right, innit? Oh, I gotta stab them now. It just felt like I was going through the motions, innit? And for you to at step one go, hold on, like this is, I ain't even trying to go to step two, like it's mad. It's
Yeah, but
difficult,
my canvas
man.
is empty, so
I
there's
hear
not much.
you, but
there's
mine
not
was
much-
two. Mine was two.
I don't
14,
think. How old
15.
are you when you changed? When you said I'm not doing this no more.
I was probably about 25.
So at
properly.
25, do you know how much things you've done at
Yeah.
25? To convince a 25-year-old to change
I hear
is
you.
a lot harder than convincing a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
As of, look, we're just going on Twitter and I'll say, but they were 14. You can make allowances
Yeah,
for 14-year-old. But you're 20-year-olds, I can't. You're 25. I think that deserves more credit because more time when society has created this image that when you're 18, you're an adult, so you know better. No, my bro, that's not how life works. If I live in one area for 20 years, I know that area very well.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean that's a
No, you know
representation
that,
of life.
yeah,
If
yeah.
another man travels for 20 years, he's gonna know a lot more than me, but we're the same age. So for me, I credit you because I think you are a strong representation of a lot of people. And if people make changes at 20 plus, cause I fully respect them. I made a change. I can still go college in this change. I can still go uni in this change, and then go get. You couldn't do any of that. You could, but like
but it
it's
was-
so much
yeah,
later on.
yeah.
You've got to get a job in this change without even going through the middle part.
Yeah, I hear you.
So I'm sorry, I do credit that individual so much. The gentrification of it can be stopped though.
I think it can be stopped.
How do you believe it can be stopped? Or it can at least be
Like,
recognized
kinda,
and
like-
acknowledged.
Yeah.
Like differently.
You can see when something funny going over there. I think it's just, I think where there's people, there's individuals that's countering it without even realizing it. Like you, me, Chucky, culture guys, you get me? There's culture and there's an industry in it. And somewhere in between the middle is where everybody wants to be right now. That's like the golden period where you're like, the industry guys like you and the man that's from where we're from still like you, innit? But it's, like I said, the guys that kind of decide who's who is kind of more to the industry side. That's why I think the gentrification is coming into it. But there's still I can't really explain it, man. But London, our culture is always gonna have raw parts of it in it. Like look at drill music.
Yeah.
For you get me. The industries are trying to do all they can to it. With them youth, they're still talking about chopping each other up. 'Cause that's what they're doing. So it's like, I'm not saying that's good, but things like that are always going to be around in it. So there's always going to be youths that are really living this thing in it, and there's going to be youths that are living this thing that are going to become stars in it.
Yeah.
I'd like to see myself as one of them youths. I really
wanna see
done
you top
this.
boy, I can't lie.
100%. I done this, and maybe I'm not a star, but I get love. I'm popular where I'm from in it. like I don't come. I'm from Wembley, innit, northwest London, and a lot of the areas surrounding Wembley are scary places, innit.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people might say Wembley's a scary place, but it wasn't particularly for me, innit.
Well, England fans would.
Yeah, but it was nothing, innit. And then I done real scary shit, and I do this now, innit. So I'd like to see myself as when I see these little drill boys talking about what they're talking about, and they're posting their videos on Instagram with their new watches and doing shows and rare tear. Maybe I'm not doing as well as them, but I've moved on from that life as well. That's why I kind of have so much love for them. You get me?
That's hard. Trust me.
Yeah, because it was. I lived fucked up. You get me? It might not have been as fucked up as certain man, but in my little world, that was hell. You understand? So for me to be doing this now and getting love for speaking about that hell, I think it's decent, man. I think I done all right.
So we talk about survival. Now Lippy's living. What does Lippy living look like in comparison to Lippy surviving? Because if I'm honest with you, I think I see too many artists still surviving today.
Yeah.
And it really breaks my heart because I'm like, finally, you've got everything you need, all the ingredients to live, and you still think surviving is cool.
Yeah.
But I'm asking you right now, Lippy, what does living look like for you?
It's a lot easier, man. Cause again, before I wasn't just a road youth my whole life. Like I said, there was a time before where I was just a normal youth, and that, to be honest, that's how I feel, man. That might even be like part of the reason that I just move on mad on social sometimes. I just feel free, like I just feel like raw. Like, you know them ones, being able to go up the road when man are stopping their car and that. I know they're gonna be like, oh, you're the guy from Rare Tech. It's not
the problem it used to be.
Yeah, so it's like I feel free, man. I feel free. I know, like, my parents don't worry about me no more.
Amazing.
My brothers and that can tell people that I'm their brother, and they don't have to think about but who's he and Rare. It's good, innit? You
so
get
revamp.
Me? Yeah, man. It's different. Cause you know when usually your acquaintances, the way you're getting spoken about is, even if it's positive, it's negative. You know them ones. So it's like, that's Lippy, that's my guy. Cause he'll just mash up anything. But now it's Lippy, he's real and he's Rare Tech and the youth them, and you understand? So it's just completely on the other side, innit? And I love it, innit? And that's what I'm trying to show the youth them, innit? That when you change and you're positive and you nod at everyone instead of asking them where they're from and that, it's
a different type of...
It's better, man.
Bluetooth, COVID, I will talk to you forever.
You already know, my brother for life. You already know.
This is a rented studio, it costs money, it's not mine. Yeah. I got to pay your carting and it's mad. Everyone, look, that was the One Post Show. I don't want two posts, that's the police. I don't have a problem with them, I just don't work for them. Take care, God bless, like, share, subscribe if you want. If you don't, the world still spins.